Hollywood is full of glitz, glamour, and carefully curated images, but behind the scenes, the real stories often remain hidden, sometimes for decades. Today, shocking revelations have surfaced from none other than Demi Moore, who, at 62, has finally decided to share the darkest secret about her ex-husband Ashton Kutcher. Fans and insiders alike are stunned, and the truth is far more complex and unsettling than anyone imagined. For years, Demi and Ashton's relationship was in the public eye. The world watched their romance, marriage, and eventual separation with fascination, often focusing on the high-profile moments, red carpet appearances, and public gestures of love. But as Demi herself reveals, there were layers to their relationship that the cameras and the media never captured. Beneath the smiles and celebrity appearances were hidden struggles, conflicts, and secrets that shaped both of their lives in profound ways. According to insiders, Demi's revelation exposes aspects of Ashton's personality and behavior that were previously unknown, painting a picture that is both surprising and deeply personal. While fans have long speculated about the couple's private life, few could have anticipated the intensity and depth of this disclosure. Demi's decision to speak out is not only a shocking revelation, it is a bold act of honesty and courage, revealing truths that were long buried beneath Hollywood's polished surface. The disclosure has sparked widespread conversation. Fans have flooded social media with reactions, debates, and support for Demi, recognizing the bravery it takes to share such a personal account publicly. Experts in relationships and celebrity culture also weigh in, noting that the story sheds light on the human complexities behind fame, love, and personal growth. This revelation is more than a headline, it's a deeply human story of struggle, resilience, and the challenges of navigating life and love under the relentless spotlight of fame. Demi Moore's courage in sharing the truth about Ashton Kutcher reminds the world that even celebrities face profound, hidden realities, and that speaking out can be both liberating and transformative. At first glance, Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher seemed like the perfect Hollywood couple. Their marriage was celebrated in the media, their public appearances carefully polished, and their interactions with fans often warm and affectionate. To outsiders, it looked like a romance that had everything: love, charm, and celebrity allure. But as Demi reveals in her recent disclosure, appearances can be deceiving. Behind the cameras and red carpets, their relationship was far more complicated than the public ever realized. Demi, a woman who had experienced both fame and personal challenges from a young age, recognized patterns in Ashton's behavior that were deeply troubling. While he often appeared charming and carefree to the world, private interactions painted a very different picture, one of secrecy, manipulation, and hidden struggles that Demi carried with her silently for years. According to those close to the couple, early signs of tension appeared not long after they married. Friends noticed subtle shifts in Demi's demeanor, moments of quiet reflection, occasional withdrawal from social gatherings, and a growing sense of unease that seemed out of character for someone who was once effervescent and open. Demi herself recalls trying to reconcile the image of her charismatic husband with the reality she was experiencing behind closed doors. The challenges were not immediately visible to the public. Ashton's career continued to flourish, with roles in blockbuster films, sitcoms, and media appearances. Yet the personal cost to Demi was mounting. She struggled with conflicting emotions: the love she felt, the hope for the relationship to succeed, and the growing awareness that serious issues were being hidden. It was a delicate balance between maintaining appearances and protecting her own well-being, a challenge familiar to anyone living under the constant scrutiny of fame. As Demi began to reflect on these years, she realized that the secrecy and hidden behaviors were not isolated incidents, but part of a deeper pattern. The realization was both shocking and painful. It forced her to confront not only Ashton's actions, but also the emotional toll on herself: years of compromise, silence, and the constant effort to keep up a public facade. This chapter sets the stage for a story of courage and revelation. Demi Moore's decision to finally speak about the darkest secret of her marriage is more than a personal disclosure. It is a moment of empowerment, truth, and transparency. It challenges the polished narratives of Hollywood relationships and reminds fans that behind even the most glamorous lives are stories of struggle, resilience, and the pursuit of honesty. As Demi Moore continued her life alongside Ashton Kutcher, she began to notice patterns of behavior that were increasingly difficult to ignore. Outwardly, Ashton maintained his public charm, often seen joking with fans, performing in films, and attending glamorous events. But behind closed doors, Demi experienced a very different reality, one that was filled with secrecy, emotional strain, and moments of deep discomfort. Friends and insiders reveal that Demi often felt isolated in these moments. She struggled to reconcile the man the world adored with the man she was living with. It was not just minor disagreements or typical marital tension. This was a persistent pattern of hidden actions and behaviors that eroded trust over time. While Ashton maintained his career and public persona flawlessly, Demi's emotional well-being was quietly taking a toll. The darkest secret, as Demi later revealed, was not merely about personal disagreements but involved behaviors that challenged the foundations of trust and safety in their marriage. Over time, the repeated incidents left Demi feeling vulnerable and questioning not only Ashton's intentions, but also her own decisions. Friends noticed subtle changes. The sparkle in her eyes dimmed slightly, and her laughter, once easy and frequent, became measured, cautious. She often found herself navigating a complex maze of emotions, trying to protect both herself and the image of their marriage in the public eye. Adding to the strain was the constant pressure of Hollywood scrutiny. Every public appearance, social media post, and interview had to be carefully managed. Demi, a seasoned actress who had navigated fame for decades, knew how to maintain appearances, but maintaining a perfect facade came at a high personal cost. Inside, she struggled to process her feelings, balancing love, disappointment, and growing awareness of the reality she faced. Throughout these years, Demi began confiding in a small circle of trusted friends. She spoke cautiously but candidly, sharing the emotional weight she had carried alone for so long. These confidants recall her expressing both sorrow and frustration, revealing the impact of living with the hidden truths of her relationship. While the world saw glitz and glamour, Demi's private life was fraught with challenges that tested her resilience and strength. Ultimately, this chapter emphasizes the emotional complexity of celebrity life. For Demi Moore, the darkness behind Ashton's actions was not just about secrecy or betrayal. It was about navigating the pressures of fame, love, and personal survival. It was a reminder that even those who seem to have it all can face struggles that are deeply human, deeply personal, and often invisible to the world. After years of navigating the complexities of her relationship with Ashton Kutcher, Demi Moore finally reached a point where she could no longer remain silent. The hidden behaviors, the emotional strain, and the weight of secrecy had built up over time, and the need to confront reality became unavoidable. This chapter marks the moment of truth, a period of reckoning, reflection, and ultimately, revelation. The turning point came when Demi realized that remaining silent was taking a toll not only on her emotional health but also on her sense of identity. For years, she had juggled the demands of fame, the expectations of the public, and the pressures of her marriage. Beneath the polished appearances and media-friendly smiles, a quieter, more painful story unfolded, one of frustration, disappointment, and a lingering sense of betrayal. Friends close to Demi describe how she began to confront her emotions directly. Long walks, introspective moments, and deep conversations with trusted confidants helped her process years of pent-up feelings. She started to understand the importance of acknowledging the truth, even if it was uncomfortable, and the necessity of reclaiming her voice. This process was both liberating and daunting. Sharing the darkest aspects of her life publicly meant risking judgment, skepticism, and criticism, but it also offered the possibility of healing and empowerment. Demi's decision to reveal Ashton Kutcher's darkest secret was a culmination of courage and reflection. She meticulously weighed the consequences, aware that the disclosure could ripple through the media and fan communities. Yet she also understood that withholding the truth would continue to confine her emotionally. By speaking out, Demi reclaimed control over her narrative, refusing to allow secrecy or shame to define her story any longer. The revelation itself shocked fans and insiders alike. The intensity of the disclosure showed a side of Hollywood life rarely seen. The emotional complexities, hidden struggles, and human vulnerabilities that lie beneath the glitz and glamour. Demi's honesty created a powerful ripple, encouraging others to examine their own experiences and confront truths they might have avoided. Ultimately, this chapter illustrates the transformative power of facing reality. Demi Moore's decision to speak candidly about her experiences with Ashton Kutcher was not simply about airing grievances. It was an act of self-preservation, empowerment, and clarity. It marked a moment where honesty replaced silence, strength overcame fear, and truth triumphed over the weight of secrecy. By confronting the darkest aspects of her past, Demi reclaimed her voice and set the stage for healing, reflection, and personal growth. This pivotal chapter in her life is a testament to courage, resilience, and the enduring human capacity to face even the most painful truths with dignity. After revealing the darkest secret about Ashton Kutcher, Demi Moore entered a period of healing, reflection, and renewed self-discovery. Speaking out was not just a moment of courage, it was a turning point that allowed her to reclaim her emotional well-being and focus on the life she wanted to lead. Free from the shadows of past struggles, the process of healing was gradual and deliberate. Demi leaned on her close friends, family, and trusted advisors, allowing herself to process emotions that had long been suppressed. She engaged in reflective practices, sought professional guidance, and devoted time to personal passions that nurtured her soul. For someone who had spent decades in the public eye, learning to prioritize her private well-being became essential. Each step forward was a small victory, reinforcing her sense of agency and resilience. Demi also took time to reflect on lessons learned from the relationship. She recognized patterns of behavior that were unhealthy and gained clarity on the boundaries she needed to establish in future relationships. While the revelation of Ashton's darkest secret was shocking, it also offered her the opportunity to understand herself better, to identify her values, her limits, and the importance of honesty, respect, and trust in any partnership. Importantly, Demi's story has resonated with countless fans and observers. By sharing her experience, she not only reclaimed her narrative, but also provided a powerful example of vulnerability and strength. Her journey highlights that even in the face of betrayal or hidden struggles, it is possible to move forward with dignity, learn from the past, and cultivate a sense of empowerment that extends beyond personal relationships. Professionally, Demi found renewed inspiration as well. Free from the emotional weight that had once lingered in her life, she approached new projects with creativity, energy, and authenticity. The clarity she gained allowed her to channel personal experiences into her art, bringing depth and resonance to her work in ways that reflected her growth and resilience. Ultimately, this chapter underscores a universal truth: healing is possible, even after betrayal or hardship. Demi Moore's decision to reveal Ashton Kutcher's darkest secret was not merely an act of exposure. It was a courageous step toward freedom, self-respect, and emotional wholeness. Her journey reminds the world that the path to healing often begins with truth, reflection, and the willingness to face even the most difficult chapters of one's life. Through this process, Demi emerged stronger, wiser, and more empowered, an enduring testament to the power of honesty, courage, and the human capacity to move forward despite adversity. Her story serves as both inspiration and reminder that the challenges we face do not define us. How we respond, heal, and grow does.